Women have changed. That is the cry now. Every Chad, every red pill community guy, every bad boy, every nice guy, everybody's like, women have changed, not the way they used to be. Have they though? Have they? No. In order to discuss what I what where I'm going with this is this, okay? Before we say anything else, let's break them down into two different sections. There are women who went to college, got an education, and then there's women who have not. I'm not saying either one is better than the other. I'm just drawing a sociological insight on the situation because it's cultural, and that's what I believe has changed. Okay, so you have the college people, women, and you have the non-college women. Now, I have had the pleasure, well, sometimes displeasure, of being around both groups. All right. Now, here's the thing. Let's listen to, if you go on YouTube, TikTok, wherever, and you see guys complaining about women, they are mainly complaining that women are all uppity now because they went and got all educated. Let's say this, worldwide, women are the most educated people in the last few years. Worldwide. More women have gone to college than men. You understand what I'm saying? So, if you listen to a lot of the guys who are complaining, they are complaining about women who actually have become independent. And those are the educated women. They have the job. They don't really need a man for money or nothing like that. And they may need one for love and stuff like that. And they are picking specific type of guys to do that with now. They're not picking nice guys. They're not picking bad boys on the Chads and them. They're actually picking good guys to get married to. There's a difference. Good guys have a little bit more strength to them than nice guys. And they sometimes get mixed up. And that's where you see women who aren't in college, who haven't gotten the education to understand the difference. They always reject guys who are good guys because the good guy is nice to her. Right off the bat, you're nice to them. They reject the educated woman. Will probably check out the vibe, see what's going on with them before she come to a conclusion. Now, you may say I'm talking a bunch of bull crap here and things like that, but check this out. I'll give you an example. There was a team of female athletes that was around some, right? The whole time they were in college, bad boys, bad boys, bad boys. The minute they leave college, 90% of them got married to good guys. Have the wife, have the husband, have the kids, have the cars. 90% of them did. Whereas I work in like ordinary jobs, retail jobs and stuff, and those women there who haven't been to college or anything, they still chase, they're 30, 35, 40, they're still chasing bad boys. Still out there chasing bad boys. No, here's the thing. Is it that they changed? Or is it that the culture changed? I think it's the culture change. I think women who wanted to become something of themselves, not necessarily become independent, but wanted to get an education and stuff, I think they were always like that. That mentality was always like that. The culture at the time wasn't allowing it to happen. There was a time women wasn't allowed to get educated. You could say the same thing from my other marginalized group too. They weren't allowed to get educated. And if you notice, when you take a look at it, people are complaining about those exact groups and how they know the education and they think that this and they think that, and then they're using other things to describe them and dehumanize them and make them seem less than. That's what they do with women. Oh, they gold diggers. Oh, they this, they that, they the other. Here's the situation. Bad boys don't really want those women who are not educated and who are just working a 9-to-5 job. That's not what they want. They want those educated women who have time to go to the gym, make themselves look good, according to society. When I say look good, I'm saying according to society. No, let's not just talk about that. We go with what the culture says looks good, not what I personally think what looks good. I think what looks good on the inside is more important. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But the thing about it is, though, so that's what they complain about. Because if you ever hear them complaining, they complain a lot, especially the ones that are on YouTube and stuff like that. Not just the ordinary guys. It's the ones that are pushing this mentality out there that women have changed and they're all gold diggers and they just hopping from men to men. They can't have those women. Those women leveled themselves up past what they expect. So that's why they hate them so much. And if you notice, it's usually blue collar guys that are complaining that women are feminists and they this, they that, to the other, or rich men with the mentality that a woman should do what they want. Let's look at a lot of rich men. Unless they have a trophy wife, they usually have a woman who's vibing up with them. There's one that owned that company that is the same name as the Rainforest, okay? He had a wife that like worked with him and, she had, she was in the business, she was doing stuff. He dumped her for a little trophy. See, the Chads, the everyday Chads want those educated women. The rich men, they just want somebody to look good around their arm. But, back to what I was saying, it's like, it have changed, man. Nice guys are like, yeah, women changed, the gold diggers only want the man with a nice car. Dude, if you go back to the caveman days, the women would marry the guy who have that sense of strength, you know what I mean? He might be a jerk, but, he's got that strength, they feel protected. And that's how women felt in the 50s a little bit too. They weren't allowed to go to school. They weren't allowed to be independent. And, as the 50s is, let's go further back when women were like pretty much on the substitute. So the only protection they have is to marry somebody that's got the bravado of being confident, the bravado of being a strong, because most bad boys aren't strong. Let's just be real here. It's all bravado. There's no depth to it. The illusion of it is what gets especially in the demographic of women, and they're not lower class, they're not higher class, and that's not what I'm talking about. A blue collar woman is going to go after a blue collar man who is like, he's driving the truck, he's doing man thing, you know what I mean? Because that's what signifies strength. That's what turned them on, straight up, straight down. Have you noticed there's a pushback against getting educated? Because not only men are getting educated anymore. Women are getting educated and they're becoming independent. That's who those guys want. Because, if you marry an ambitious woman, even if she's just a housewife, she's still going to be ambitious about what she's doing. That's what they want. But if a woman is not really ambitious and all she's doing is going to a certain level, that's going to keep you at that level. And it goes both ways, not just with women. I'll give you an example. I'm a writer. I wanted to be a writer, have books published and stuff like that. And when I was married, I was being cajoled into being a manager at Toys R Us. Because it's that whole mentality, you know what I mean? Know your lane. You're not supposed to aspire to anything. But and nice guys stop it with that stuff already. The nice guys never win, or nice guys finish last. If a woman chooses a bad boy, did you really finish last? Did you really lose anything? She's picking a bad boy, for crying out loud. We know what he's going to do. How did you lose? You didn't lose. Because generally speaking, women who like bad boys do the things to good, nice guys that bad boys do to them. So stop the complete. Stop following these macho guys who are on there screaming and yelling about how women are evil and women are they taking this and they need to do as we say and all of that stuff. It's all money making thing. You know what I mean? They haven't changed. The culture did. They adapted. A lot of y'all are struggling to adapt to it. And that's what the vibe is, you know what I mean? And they go, well, I'm a strong man. I shouldn't have to adapt. Yeah, you do. You know what I mean? Times change. Nothing is going to stay the same. They're going to do what they're going to do. That's just the way it is. Because I tell you what, they do it to nice guys. They do what they want to do to nice guys. Well, they're going to do what they're going to do regardless of the nice guys. That's just the way it is. So, hey, stop with this stuff about they changed. They didn't. They just have the freedom now to do what it is they want to do. Just like any other demographic of marginalized people. And they're all getting pushed back from everybody from every angle, including within their own vibe. Within their own demographic, they're getting pushed back. Because people don't like change. And the culture changed because women had to go out to work because, you know, it takes a two-income family to survive. And now that's not even happening anymore. Because now they have harvested this fight against man against woman. So nobody's communicating. Everything is surface level. That is one of the things that have changed. Everything is surface level. Once you could tap into the fact that this person was on, okay, like for instance, you ever notice that it was a lot of parents that encouraged their that encouraged their daughters to go to college, even though they didn't go? So it wasn't feminism. It was a certain awareness. Hey, we could do this now. I didn't get to go. You go. Same thing happened with marginalized people. They tell their kids, we didn't get to go to college. Now you go. You're the first to graduate college. I hear that every time I see like a woman is sitting down, like maybe not so much so now, but when it first started to happen, you know, they were saying, hey, they were the first woman in the family to graduate college and stuff like that. I guess that was like the 60s, 70s when that was going on. Now they could just go to college, no big deal. It wasn't like, oh my God, she's going to college, man. You know. Like I said, there's always pushback. The culture changed, guys, not the women. The fact is, everybody thinks just because it's two different entities to a certain degree, physically, that they're different mentally, but they're not. They think a lot like men. It was just suppressed for a while. They were just told they weren't able to. Doesn't mean they didn't want to. Doesn't mean they weren't thinking it. No, they can. So it didn't change. The culture did. There's a difference. You know what I mean? The culture didn't change the mentality. Then the mentality got freedom. Well, I'm done babbling. I just thought it was funny because I'm watching people on YouTube talking all this talk and thing, you know. They're talking about how, you know, women have changed and men have changed to suit them and how, you know, it's that whole thing we go back to we blaming something, we blaming somebody else for a situation that we in reality created. We're the ones that made it so that the culture shifted. It wasn't women. It wasn't, it wasn't just women, it wasn't just men. We did it. We made it so that they had to go to work. And after they go to work, they weren't going to just be secretaries forever. You know what I'm saying? If you're a man and you're like the janitor or you're like a store clerk, you want to be manager, don't you? They're human. They want to do that too. Once the door is open, they climb in the ladder. That's the human trait. You expect them to be satisfied with where they are? Come on. And that's the problem, you know what I mean? People don't look at the human side of things. They absolutely believe that there's just massive difference and that difference control this. No, 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 no. The differences are learned behaviors according to culture. It's got nothing to do with being on the inside of a person. Cultures shape people. Shifts in cultures shape people. Especially the people who are already thinking what they were thinking. Anyway, let's hope you guys have a good day and take it what I mean. Drop in the comment section. Tell me what you think about this. Tell me I'm an idiot for saying that. You know what I mean? I know some people are going to say, you're a pick me, you're a pick me. No, man, I've been single since 1997 by choice. So I ain't looking for nobody to pick me. Have fun with your life.